Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome to Hold the Ball, HTB. Hope all is well. Thanks again, guys, for tuning in. Look, just quickly, I thought I'll just do a live where I guess I just talk about all the things that have been happening so far in the finals, as well as sort of like talking about the CRL. Now, again, I probably picked a bad time slot, but instead that's okay. I'm sure you guys will get back from whatever it is you're doing and have a bit of a watch. Probably going to do this for about 40 minutes to an hour, roughly, depending. But yeah, just go over sort of like the games and my thoughts on it. And I guess sort of like a little bit of a mini preview heading into next week. But in saying that, I will have some videos prepared for that too. But yeah, look, I just want to sort of get into it. So first things first. And again, just thanks again to my new subscribers as well. I appreciate you guys for watching sort of like my recent video as I sort of follow the Panthers, and yeah, I appreciate the compliments and I appreciate the comments too. Opinions will always differ, and I think that's the beauty about sport, as we all know. You can always have different sort of perspectives and things like that. But guys, as we sort of know, if you haven't watched, a lot of things have happened in the NRL final series this week anyway. First things first, got to sort of address that. Actually, before I get there, just quickly, hey, Warriors Fanatics, thanks for watching, appreciate it. But I'm going to be talking about the NRL and probably just a little quick update on the CRL, which is the California Rugby League. So just again, guys, so the North Bay Dead Pelicans actually played the San Diego Barracudas in a game that was, sort of like whoever lost that game was going to get the wooden spoon for the season thus far. And so far, and it ended up that North Bay Dead Pelicans won that game 76 points to 34 over the San Diego Barracudas. In a very high scoring game. But in saying that, for those teams, they bow out of the competition, and we sort of see them next season. But in saying that, it was actually good to see them play. And obviously, as California Rugby League sort of grows, and I'm hearing implementing of new teams, we'll actually see more of them play. So no, it's good game overall, and the video will be out, and I'll definitely be watching it. But look, back to the NRL, guys. First thing first, the dominance of the Storm over Manly, winning that game 40 points to 12. Look, you can sort of look at that game and say that our Manly were probably their own worst enemies, as cliche as that may sound. But in saying that, doing finals footy, it's no excuse. Sure, you were sloppy, you probably weren't as good as you could be. That definitely wasn't the Manly we've come accustomed to, especially after that 4-loss sort of series there of games. Sorry, but in saying that, you really can't, in my opinion anyway, sort of have an excuse for that sort of poor display. Now, the Storm did well to shut down Tom Trbojevic. DCE and the halves were virtually ineffective, even going up wide to their centres in particular. Morgan Harper having a really bad game. Jason Hassab as well, managing to score the first try, but in saying that, Storm just were very clinical. Anything that Manly tried to do, it was stopped. They're basically dissected, position by position, play by play. Storm were just very clinical in that game. And again, another thing with Storm too, obviously the halves were on point. Munster and Hughes, an absolute just clinic. Fire, their forwards too were absolutely strong. You can't really complain there as well. And if you're sort of like a Storm fan, you're obviously you're actually looking at this game and you're thinking you'll probably won it all very confidently, I must add as well. And on top of that as well, you've also had the lackluster performance from Manly as a whole. It sort of took me by surprise. I did tip the Storm, though, by the way, to win the game, but you sort of tip, and as you're tipping, you're probably just a little hopeful that our man can either show up and give us, the viewers, their fans, a decent game, or B, they'll actually win at least. And obviously tipping the Storm, well, yeah, I did that under the impression that they'd win, obviously, but at the same time, Manly again showing that they would try to do something, and again, just from 1 to 13, it just wasn't good enough. Now, obviously, Manly sort of get another chance to, they get another chance to fight another day. However, there's probably a lot of concern in that game there. I think anyway, especially if you sort of look at just how yeah, the defense wasn't there. The Storm put 40 points on them, so defense wasn't there. They just weren't gelling well. A lot of mistakes, a lot of crucial errors, and it just sounded like, as if the way they played was as if it was sort of like a regular season game, which isn't what you want to bring, especially to a team against the Storm. If you're Manly, you're probably before the game anyway. You're probably chomping at the bit to get in there to show us that you can, that you will. But then to sort of have that display there. Again, much kudos to Melbourne, which sort of shows you their dominance, and for Melbourne as well, shows you why they, let's be honest here, they've got one hand firmly gripped on their premiership trophy. No matter where you sort of stand as a fan watching the Storm, they definitely do. So again, kudos to the Storm there, but I just think Manly just had to lift their game up there. It wasn't good enough. Again, you can look back at things and say, excuses, you can sort of say that they didn't play well, but again, as I go back to it, the finals, it's the place where you sort of throw everything. It doesn't matter if it's an elimination round, it doesn't matter if you get a second chance. The point is you don't want to lose. And the way that Manly played, you almost think, well, there was a point in that game when I think they could probably all collectively have just said, well, yeah, that's fine, that's it. But I just quickly as well, California Rugby League. Hey, how you going? New mic, nice. Yes, that is a mic that I use normally. Unfortunately, though, in this case here, I'm just sort of going off the phone one. But normally I do have it on there. I'm just charging my phone, so yeah. But again, good showing on the weekday as well. As I was explaining just prior, with the North Bay Dead Pelicans, which is an awesome name, winning 76 points to 34 over the San Diego Barracudas. But again, just going back to the Storm, kudos to them. And quickly with California Rugby League as well, there's actually another, mouth-watering sort of game coming up this week, which I cannot wait to talk about. I'll let you guys know when I get there. But this game I'm definitely looking forward to. I think it's the game that sort of determines. I think it determines where the who comes into that finals match. So it'll be pretty cool. Looking forward to that. Look, got a comment here from Hawaii. Why would Rabbits get rid of Reynolds? I'm not too sure. Obviously, there was all that sort of controversy sort of thrown towards that decision there. You could probably say, that Rabbits weren't loyal. You could probably say that perhaps Reynolds was asking too much. I'm not too sure what happened there, but that is the subsequent end of that little relationship there. And yeah, it's pretty sad. But in saying that, credit to the Rabbitohs. So anyway, that was game one with Manly and Storm. So we'll go to game two. That was the Roosters against the Titans. And again, guys, feel free to ask any questions. Feel free to just let me know what's in your mind regarding the finals. And again, thank you guys for commenting, and thank you for the subscribers. But game two. So the Roosters against the Titans in a I think it was, you could probably pencil it in and say it was probably the match anyway, I think, of the round. Some people probably just expected the Roosters to perhaps just walk all over the Titans, but it wasn't to be. Every time the Roosters did something, the Titans kept on coming back and fighting back. And it was one of those typical sort of, slugfests, which we love as rugby league fans. And it was very physical, and it did not disappoint. Kudos as well to James Tedesco. I think he was superb in that game. You could definitely see he was trying to play more of an attacking role. Probably more so than he does. He sort of upped the gear there a bit. But in finals footy, that's what you expect. Fifita as well was superb for the Titans. Overall, Tino Fa'asua Maleaui was good, I think, in my opinion. Jalen Campbell as well. But in saying that, it was probably like a very good experience for Campbell, who I think will take a lot out of this game. Win or loss, obviously they lost this game, but the Titans did anyway. But I think it's one of those games where you sort of, you put it in the memory bank and you sort of excel from there, you learn from there. Some of the key points to me personally in that game was, number one, the resistance of the Titans, who just never gave up. You probably could have at one point. I think the Roosters sort of had the upper hand there, but no, they came back, they kept on clawing, and it was actually very encouraging to see. It was actually a good sign there as well for Titans, particularly into next year, heading into next year. Some good things to take there. And then look for the Roosters. Well, Walker comes in and he slots that goal, obviously at the end to bring that score up to 25 points. And at the same time as well, you sort of had a bit of that Jared Whitehead-Hargreaves, Crichton sort of thing to Paul Newer, a bit of Butcher in there as well. So again, it's all like the star players, the best players they could get anyway, was just very good there for the Roosters. But in saying that, at the end, one team had to bow out, and it was unfortunately, depending on where you stand, the Titans. So in saying that, kudos to the Roosters, who I think a lot of people have been saying it too, deserve a lot of praise and credit for the year that has been for them, being able to still be competitive despite having players be, obviously retire due to injury, and sort of, injury, as well as just, retiring from, season as well. So a bit of retirement as well as, season ending injuries. So for them to sort of be in that competition and be able to go through to the next round is huge kudos on them, which is a very good thing to see. And again, I still genuinely believe that next year there'll be a genuine threat. I think when the Roosters regather and recuperate, you're going to have to watch out for them. I genuinely believe that. All right, so Warriors NRL Fanatic says Roosters vs Titans was a great game. Poor Patrick Herbert. Yeah, look, that little part there at the end. If he could have gone back in time, do you think he would have done things differently? I think so. I think it was one of those plays where the moment was too big. And some players can react and some players don't. Some players understand the task at hand, while some sort of just, I guess, unfortunately, sort of just keep on playing the play button and keep going. Obviously, there was like a 2-on-0 overlap, I think, anyway. Then with the ball, I don't think was going to make any damage defending where Patrick was, but obviously at Fifita as well as Corey Thompson. I am very, very surprised that Patrick Herbert did not pass at least once to Fifita and or Thompson in a normal sort of fashion. But like I said, sometimes during the heat of the moment, as we sort of know of our players, sometimes players do that. But yeah, I sort of thought that the spray that he copped from Corey Thompson afterwards was justified. I think, particularly when, with context, it was justified. Had he passed that ball, Titans win that game, that's it. But he didn't, and Roosters are through. Now, again, it sort of shows you sort of what the season was like for the Titans anyway. These good opportunity there for them. They can actually dig themselves out of nothing and actually create things. So, again, for them too, I think there's a lot to learn here. The best thing for them, though, is that they made the 8. That's one thing you can definitely learn from and move from, is that they made the 8. So, that's all like a box ticked. Now, obviously, the next thing is to try and make the top 6 and obviously top 4, so on and so forth. So, again, for them, it was a good learning experience. And though it came down to that very crucial point there, the heat of the moment. And as someone who watches the league, I definitely am a believer in moments. I think moments are literally what direct the game. And yeah, that Patrick Herbert moment there. I think the rugby league guys were looking at him, and unfortunately, just wasn't to be. But at the times, even though they lost that game, I think there's a lot they can take out of it. As to what happens for them next year, again, yeah, like I said, guys, I will be actually reviewing each team one by one. Yeah, I'll actually be giving you guys my thoughts on them as a team. Yeah, so for example, I'll be doing a review on the Raiders, a season review on the Raiders, Titans, Roosters, Storm, so on and so forth, giving you guys my thoughts on this season as well as ways to improve. And yeah, just watch out. Your team may be next, so all eyes for that one there. But I think I'll be doing that one right in the heat of summer, so probably a few months away from actually me touching onto that one there. But we'll see what happens. Titans were gifted a Jared Ball. Yeah, look, that try there too, obviously. Again, yeah, look, there's not too much to speak on it about it, though. I think I've covered most of it. Kudos to the Roosters who got it done, though, at the end of the day. Yeah. All right, so guys, we're going to game number 3. This game here, I think, was a very interesting game. I think a lot of pundits would have been siding with the Rabbitohs. I think I was anyway. Definitely siding with, a lot of pundits would have been siding with the Panthers. Sorry, my apologies. And I was definitely siding with the Panthers. I'm sort of following this team as they go through the finals. And first things first from that game, if you sort of were basing it on how much who wanted it, I think Rabbitohs won that game hands down. they're very hungry now. Again, just before I get into this, obviously there's a little bit of controversy amongst the coaches there, with Wayne Bennett sort of firing shots, and I guess at Ivan Cleary, and then Ivan Cleary sort of doing the same afterwards, doing the post conference. Like my sort of general thoughts regarding coaches and sort of that stuff. It's interesting, obviously, as a fan, you sort of look at your coach, and it's very interesting. You're sort of wanting to know what they say next. However, all the sort of riches goes to the winning coach anyway, I think, regardless of whatever Bennett said afterwards, saying that they practice it and all that stuff there. And then Ivan Cleary saying that, he had to talk with the refs and all that stuff. At the end of the day, Rabbitohs walk away with a win there. So obviously fans, I think anyway, are sort of feeling that the refs were involved. You can look at it that way, or you can just look at it and the fact that the Rabbitohs were the undermanned team and they still rose to the occasion. Now, looking at this game here again, 10 points to 16. Again, Rabbitohs, they were supposed to be the team that lost, right? That was the narrative anyway. And it wasn't to be, obviously, as we sort of saw there. Blake Taft as well, absolutely having a blinder of a game. One sort of spilled opportunity there from a bomb from Cleary, but I mean, he definitely rose to the occasion. I'll get into it just quickly, just reading another comment here. I'm a big fan of Ivan Cleary, but he shouldn't have said what he said. It came back to bite him. Yeah, I agree. I think what the Panthers need to do collectively is they've got to stay away. They've got to stay away, I think, from all that drama there. One sort of thing, though, that can be a very bad thing to do, I think, with teams is when they sort of get involved, the reffing situation and stuff. I don't think it bodes well for him anyway. So Ivan Cleary, I think, change of tactic, focus on the boys. You've got a very tough challenge against the Eels this week, so focus should be on them solely, not anything else. Learn from that and just go from there. But yes, anyway, just to get back to the game, and again, guys, thanks for the comments. Look, as I said, without Latrell Mitchell, I think it was probably the headliner of the game. No Latrell Mitchell, I think that's it. And you're sort of expecting the Penrith Panthers to take advantage of that, but they didn't. So again, I'm not even going to go down, that lane of ref or whatever, because I personally think, it is what it is, right? We see bad and good calls for either team, and I think that was the case there too. The ref had some good calls and bad calls. But in saying that, like, one thing I sort of thought was, I'm just surprised personally at the Penrith Panthers in that, moments in the game when they could have attacked, when they could have scored, they couldn't. I was very surprised that wasn't the case. I thought that they would have had more grit, more artillery as well, especially when you have Luai and Nathan Cleary. Now, Nathan Cleary, I thought, played superb. He only could do what he could do. The weakness for me personally has always been the backs of the Penrith Panthers, and I think that showed again. Charlie Staines in particular did not have a good game, and I think he would have probably added as a bit of the weight there, a bit of extra weight, unfortunately, for them. But for the Rabbitohs overall, you can't complain. I think their backs were played well. Blake Taft as well. Had a superb game, I thought, anyway. And just their backs in general. Gagai was leading from the front. Johnston was good. And their forward pack as well, Kolomatangi, Burgess. I thought the halves played sensational as well. And a game that they should have lost, they didn't lose. So, again, kudos to them. Kudos to the Rabbitohs. And I just think that they were they were ready for the challenge, ultimately. And they just rise. And it didn't help the Penrith Panthers and at their end as well. But like I said, it's finals footy. So, sure, you can sort of look back and say we didn't play well. But in the finals, excuses don't mean anything. In the regular season, they do. Obviously, teams get that chance to sort of recuperate, regroup, and sort of go back to the drawing board. But in the finals, that's it. See, one lost now. Now that's changed the dynamic of the NRL. Penrith Panthers losing has now changed everything. I'm just going to go back to the comments just quickly. Bennett's presser was classic. The guy's NRL's greatest entertainer as coach. Yeah, I agree. He's pretty funny. When Bennett pulled a master stroke in coaching, absolutely. Not a fan of, I think, Cleary after he virtually backstabbed the Tigers. Yeah, look, I've heard obviously a lot of Tigers fans say that as well, and I've heard a lot of Penrith fans sort of defend Ivan there. Look, it's one of those things, isn't it? And Jacko here says Panthers actually look a little tired and distressed. I doubt very much that they can beat both the Eels and Storm to make the grand final. Yeah, well, look, they've got a very hard task up ahead of them, to be fair. You could probably even argue that pressure is already there, which it is. Regardless of the situation here, the pressure's there. They've got to beat the Eels, and then they've got to verse a very hot. And I don't like saying this, but the Storm are the in team that they're looking at back-to-back wins here. That's the reality, and what a sad one of that, but that's the way it goes. Bunnies unenthused Panthers who seem to think they would win off the back of Cleary's kicking game. Yeah, I agree. And just quickly as well, like some of the notorious names that you throw around for the Penrith Panthers just weren't up to it. I thought Yeo was superb, but Brian Tuttle, for example, got, Penrith, I thought Rabbitohs did a very good job in absolutely, what's the word, sort of just cancelling him out, for lack of a better word. I thought that they did really well to make him run less, which they did. They marked, every time he had the ball, there's about 3 to 4 defenders on him. They really did their homework there, and just not allowing the Penrith Panthers to play their game. And though Cleary had I thought a decent game anyway with the kicking as well, I just don't think it was good enough. It's a perfect example of what happens when the whole team is not in sync. Sometimes when you're not in sync, it just goes array. And I think that was the case there anyway for them collectively. But one thing I did notice too with Rabbitohs is they were really up to the task. As I sort of stated before, they understood the task at hand and they didn't let anything get to them. They for some reason leveled up. I think it's probably it. They had more energy, more enthused. They're a team they're a team that was basically acting as if they're looking down the barrel of elimination. That's what it was, and they rose to the occasion. Rabbitohs and Panthers, on the other hand, different team to what we're used to seeing. And now with them losing, as I said, it's changed the dynamics of the NRL. Now you're going to have the Eels next week with the Penrith Panthers, and I thought the Eels will look good. Look good in that game. Bit controversial, but we'll get to that. We'll address those sort of points there. But now they get back to they've got to beat the Eels, and they've got to try, and as I said before, try and beat the Melbourne Storm. And again, a lot easier said than done. You're better off sometimes playing it on the PlayStation, really. You're better off playing the Storm on the PlayStation, really, than you are in real life. Because, they're actually pretty good. Another comment here. I think Wayne Bennett just speaks his opinion. Then the media makes it out like he's mastermind manipulating Ivan Cleary of the Panthers. Yeah, I think, look, Wayne Bennett, to me, we all sort of have our own little thoughts on who's the greatest coach. I'm sure we do. I personally think Wayne Bennett is... He to me is probably my greatest coach of all time. But yeah, look, with Wayne Bennett, he's a funny character. He says it how it is, how he sees it, and because he has such a very unique sort of approach to the way he sort of talks in the media, I think that's another thing that sort of gives him more of an aura, more of a buzz. It's just the way he is as a person, just that character that he is, creates a lot of unique buzz. Anything he says, we sort of cling on to it, regardless of what side of the fence you're on, whether you like what he said or you didn't like, you sort of just cling on to whatever he says. And I think that's a testament to him as a coach and his tenure. He's had a very long and very colourful career as a coach, in the NRL and obviously Origin International as well. Let's not forget he, helped the Kiwis win in the World Cup as well. And obviously, I've sort of read a report as well regarding coaches for the Warriors, and his name was thrown about in an article, which is very interesting. Now, would Wayne Bennett do it? Should he do it? I'm not sure, but again, food for thought. But I look, in saying that, just going back to the game just quickly before we go into the next game. Penrith Panthers, I thought were not good enough, really. I'm sure they're going to come back stronger. There's a lot to learn here, but now we're looking at a very sticky situation where you're potentially looking at just quickly comments here. Neo Tamatoa Masters, hey, howdy. How you going, bro? And now you're sort of looking at a situation now where the Penrith Panthers have to, go for the Eels, who I said were tough, and then they've now got to go and then meet the Melbourne Storm, and what an absolute sort of a dynamic change. It changes everything now. So obviously the chat before round one was Melbourne Storm, Penrith Panthers, grand final, book it. now we're going to be potentially seeing Melbourne Storm and Panthers at a prelim. But in saying that, obviously there's the Eels there, and the Eels for some reason have the wood over the Storm. So who did the Storm want to play more? Did the Storm want to play the Panthers more, or they want to play the Eels more? Because if track record's anything to go by this season anyway, the Eels have the wood over them. There's just something about the Eels and the Storm this season that has just been really confusing to even think about. Honestly, I don't get it. I don't understand it. But for some reason, the Eels just click. I don't know. That's the Storm's kryptonite. Can we all rally behind the Eels and give them a big push to beat the Melbourne Storm? We'll see. But again, just going back to that game, yeah, well done to the Rabbitohs, who have earned a good rest and will now play the winner out of Manly and the Roosters, which is a very mouth-watering clash. Again, sort of like the teams that have lost, you probably think that they're going to come back stronger. It usually is the case. But in saying that, strange things have happened, so we'll have to wait and see. But again, Rabbitohs, well done. All right, guys, and now it sort of draws me to the last game here, and that is the Eels against the Knights. And obviously the Eels took that one out, 28 points to 20. Look, watching that game, I thought the Knights actually had a very good game, personally. I thought they were unlucky there, and I'm not talking about that controversial moment, because I think the rules sort of state that was legal. But what I mean to say, though, is that just that heart, to try and win the game, to always show up, I thought was great. Mitch Pearce as well tried his darnest. Kalen Ponga. Now, just quickly with Kalen Ponga, there's these little things happening with this young man regarding talks and so all that stuff between clubs and where he may go to next, where he should go. Are the Knights the best fit for him? And I think it's really interesting sort of discussions. We'll see what happens in the future regarding his contract and stuff, but I do believe he is signed for quite a while. So, none of that talk for now anyway. But the Eels, I thought it was probably scrappy from their end, but they got the job done. The Parramatta Eels as well showed, I think anyway, just how good they can be in patches. That's the thing about the Eels, though. They haven't been, obviously, you sort of, their season is, in my opinion, a decent one anyway. Probably questionable to some degree, but hey, it is what it is. But in little patches, they've actually shown that they can be very good. And obviously, having those 2 wins over the Storm, it's not an easy feat, regardless. So, just going to read this comment here. I feel like Adam O'Brien has shackles on Ponga, too much block plays, etc. Yeah, I agree. You can definitely look at it that way in that regard. But just going back to the game, just quickly, with the Eels as well, I thought that in little patches they showed brilliance in that game. It wasn't the best game for them, but Ferguson, to me personally, has risen to the occasion. I've enjoyed watching him. I get it; he's a very controversial sort of a player. Not everyone likes him, but that is a-okay. I thought he played well. I thought he had, I thought he did what he had to do. Another thing as well was the forwards, particularly Mr. Regan Campbell-Gillard, who in my opinion had a very, very good game. I think the Eels sort of win that game, off the back of his momentum. He really fired up the boys in patches there, defensively as well. That big hit he had on who was it? Was it Daniel Saifiti, I believe? We absolutely, rammed him, and then Frizzell as well. Now again, in that point there with Tyson Frizzell, what would he have done? I thought personally that the HIA thing, he should have just been off the field. That is sort of my thoughts. I get the reason why he probably wasn't, but sort of seeing Tyson Frizzell sort of stumbling around after attempting a tackle on, who was it? Was it RCG? I think it was, but he attempted a tackle anyway, and obviously, sort of missed, or head in the wrong place type thing. And then he gets up and he sort of wobbles around. And then you're sort of looking as a fan, you're unsure what's going to happen. The uncertainty is there. And then he carries on playing. And I thought that was actually quite controversial on my part. I thought that was controversial. Should you take a player out when they're standing around like that? I think you should. Sure, I get it. It's finals. Of course, you'd rather die than sort of leave the field. I get it. But in saying that, in that type of situation, again, player welfare should probably be highlighted, and I think needs to be taken more seriously. And I don't think Tyson Frizzell was ever 100% in that game after that little incident there. And the fact that he still played was, look, kudos to him, I'm sure. Tough, sure. But long run damage, how much has he just made for himself again? But I'll just read this comment here. Eels were better side and deserved the win. But hang on, Sky just had a NRL sort of news there again. It's a live reaction. The NRL apparently going to make some changes to those already assigned time slots. I'm assuming it'll be the Storm versus whoever wins out of Eels and Penrith Panthers game there. I'll get to that just quickly. Eels were a better side and deserved the win, but neither side has really improved over the year. They are both at the same level as a year ago. RCG had probably the best game in his career. Yeah, I agree. No, that's well summed, isn't it, really? Both teams probably won't make a dent, lifting up their trophy. I think that's just the reality. But yeah, Eels were the better team. And with RCG, as I said before, it's so funny because he really doesn't, I don't think he really puts his hand up as much as he should. I don't know why. Is it because, he took advantage of a weaker Knights team? Was it because he decided he wants to play? Was it just one of those nights for him, one of those games? I'm not too sure, but I mean, personally, looking at the game, I thought he was very, very good to have in the field there, and I think he definitely lifted him through. Now, Kalen Ponga, again, just going back to his general play, he did well, right? Fed the ball well, was part of 2 try involvements, I believe. Fast, zippy, there's not much you can sort of do there with him. Now, just going back to the talk about him, obviously a lot of people thinking he's too good for the Knights. What's happening on Mitch Pearce and all that stuff there, again, just don't know. But there's not much you can do if you're Kalen Ponga. If you're sort of feeding the ball, if you're sort of doing your best and you just can't get the results, it's one of those games, isn't it? It's one of those things as players, especially a good player of his caliber. I think he's a very good athlete. Not much you can do. Pearce was a poor game. Maybe his time as top player is up. Yeah, I agree. I don't think he performed well at all. And look, that sort of drop ball in the in goal off the kickoff was probably the summation of it, really. Now, sort of standouts. I thought Bradman Best was all right. I thought he played okay for the Knights. The Saifiti brothers have grown, and they've definitely been a good duo to watch. I think the brothers there, and another player as well who I thought stood up was Barnett for me personally. Watson as well, but I think now Watson goes to the Roosters next year, and Tuala was okay in bits and pieces, but it was probably part of that unfortunate sort of try that happened. Obviously with that controversial call. Now just to go back to that quickly, obviously what happened was what was it? It was a Clint King Gutho runs, kicks the ball, right? And on the replay it shows that he drops it. Technically he drops it, but then executes with his, uses his foot to kick it, which then is a drop goal, right? A drop kick. That's it. Now the NRL, you don't need to. It's stated that the rule is basically a drop kick can be performed anywhere. It doesn't have to just be used as a drop kick. So again, that's just the rules. That's what they state. Obviously, a lot of Knights fans are looking at it and saying that he had dropped the ball and that kicking it afterwards. But no, the rules books say, unfortunately, that was that's a technical drop kick, which again it doesn't need to be made to try and score a point. You can literally just kick it any part of the field you want. So that's what happened. So anyway, he kicks the ball. Benisini runs to try and get it, and obviously Tuala comes and diverts his line, grabs him around the bootlaces, and obviously sort of subsequently leads him to not score a try. And obviously that's when the controversy sort of happened. But for me, looking at it personally, I thought it was the right call. Now, a penalty try, I'm not too sure if it should have been a penalty try, to be fair. I'm not too sure. But I'm definitely a sending off, definitely a 10 minutes in the bin. The only reason why I say I'm not sure is because, well, I don't know. I mean, yeah, I suppose it's one of those things where you sort of just got to let it play out. But I don't know. Like, I thought it wasn't a penalty try. That's just what I thought. But definitely a penalty, definitely worthy of a sin bidding for Tuala. But a penalty try, I'm not too sure. But yeah, again, just going on that game, obviously the Eels win. They're through now. The Knights, the summation of their season, really, you can just quickly, the summation of their season for the Knights anyway, I think Jacko here sort of just explains it well. Sort of just coasting through, I guess, some good wins, 2 wins over the Warriors definitely helped them in their cause. The Warriors just love helping teams out for some reason. It's what we do. We are, we're charitable givers, I think, anyway. We love to help out any team or any player that is sort of slumping on form. Just verse us, and we will take you to the top. We took Manly to the top 4. We helped the Knights. We helped the Titans. We are just charitable. We gave Broncos a very memorable game. Albert Kelly got a contract signing as well, a re-signing because of it as well. I'm actually surprised Anthony Milford didn't, get a few years added to his contract at the Rabbitohs for next season. Again, we just, Warriors. Anyway, not to make this about the Warriors, but you get my point. We just love helping out other teams. It's what we do. Yeah. If you're a player and you're sort of down on form and you're looking at the calendar for next season, and as soon as you see the Warriors, you're just thinking, yep, this is it. It's time for me to, it's time for me to go beast mode, get that contract, get that re-signing. Because the Warriors, for some reason, we love making bad players and bad teams look very good. That's what we do. That's what we do, man. Charitable. Anyway, look, as I said, now the Eels, they face the Penrith Panthers, and I'm just going to quickly give you guys a bit of a preview. Now, this week planned, I will be doing my proper tips and stuff tomorrow. So again, please be on the lookout for that. Tomorrow I'll be doing my tips, my NRL finals tips, as well as sort of like going over the Penrith Panthers. So those videos collectively won't be long, but in saying that, I'll make sure to jam-pack a lot of information in there as well for you guys, as well as some more rugby league chat, ball and all chat, and probably another bit of a preview for the California Rugby League, and I'll give you guys my opinions. All right, just quickly, Jacko here. I still maintain that teams that just sneak into the 8 tend to stay the same as they get false sense of success. Example, Knights and Sharks as of late. Yes, I agree, and I know that is definitely your stance there, Jacko. And I don't disagree. I don't disagree with you, but I think again it's really contextual. So as you know, my argument for that is always going to be, well, for us as Warrior fans, I think making the 8 or even scraping by, sneaking in, as you've said, is probably progress. Though, albeit obviously, there's a very high chance we'll get knocked out straight away in the, the elimination round, sure. But I think for us, it is something that I would definitely tick as success. Now, if you're a team that sort of frequently makes the 8 and it's all you ever do is sort of make that 8 or 7 spot, sure, I agree. That's when I sort of tend to agree. Yeah, you're probably looking at no progress. However, for teams like the West Tigers, for teams like the Warriors, the Bulldogs, as of late, the Broncos, as of late, I think sneaking into that 8-7 spot would probably be a very good. You consider that as progress. But obviously, the following year after, I think, and again, this is what I mean by I agree and disagree with what you're saying. The following year after is when you tend to sort of hope that you can progress further than, further than where you are at the moment. So yeah, like I said, what you're saying there, there's no lie there. It's all facts. But again, for me, it's just like contextual. Just depends. Like I said, with the Warriors, that is the glory road there. That is the glory train. If we actually just make it and sneak into the 8th or the 7th, but then the following year, you want to obviously see a bit of progress, a bit of, an upward trajectory, basically. So yeah, good point there. As I said, for my week as well, got some rugby league, Ball North chat. We'll be doing the previews as well. Look, I might do some collabs, just depending. Probably just talking about some of the games. But yes, I think more of my content, the bigger stuff, is actually going to be planned for after the NRL season. As I said before, for guys who are sort of watching this, unsure what's happening, I'm actually going to be doing a review as well of every single team, of every single NRL team. Oh, and just quickly as well, my apologies there, Neil Tamator. I'll get to you soon regarding that Joseph Manu thing. But I think these little rumors regarding Joseph Manu coming to the Warriors, there's a lot of that stuff, but realistically, I mean, look, to be fair, none of the Warriors are situated in Australia. That may happen, if we were situated back, in New Zealand, and that's the pros and cons, isn't it, of being in Australia, versus being in New Zealand for the Warriors. Now that we're here for what seems like probably a year or two more, you're probably going to get more of those signings that you probably wouldn't get, particularly from some of the boys who just want to live in Australia, So yeah, he could. I'm not too sure, but I think realistically, I think the Roosters are pretty safe there. But again, it just depends on their cap stuff. Obviously, as well as Walker and co. You've got Walker there, Kiri, some of the players there. But yeah, as I said, a lot of my post NRL content will be made, especially a review of all the teams. And again, I do have some more special sort of videos as well that are in the works. And yeah, again, expect more of my sort of stuff to happen more so after the NRL season. I think it's more so just a slow sort of a cruise at this point with me and my content. I'm going to be going at the same pace as the NRL, sort of wherever they are. And obviously a few little bonuses here and there. But I think generally speaking, yeah, a lot of my bigger stuff will be happening during the summer, edition of my videos is what I call it. So the summer season, get ready for it. But yeah, so as I said, now the Eels versus the Penrith Panthers next week, and then you've got the Roosters against Manly. And to be fair with you, to be very fair to you guys, you probably wouldn't be wrong to tip either of these teams, honestly. That's just how I feel. I feel like as if unless you're the Storm, it's anyone's, it doesn't even matter who you tip. You can be assured that the Storm are going to do something. They're going to make it. They're going to, do all that stuff there. But then when you're sort of tipping these two teams, for example, Roosters and Manly, obviously you can say that the Manly have the better side, sure, on paper. But I mean, I think the Melbourne Storm have given Roosters the blueprint on how to beat Manly. Again, a lot easier said than done, but I think it's something that can be practiced and can be sort of utilized. And I think Roosters have the pack to do it. They do. They've got the team to nullify someone like Tom Trbojevic. And at the other end of the spectrum, you can see the Eels there. I think Rabbitohs have given them the blueprint, and that's called physical. If your forwards can meet the physicality of the Panthers forwards, what else do they got to sort of look back to? All right, just quickly, guys, just reading the comments. Hey, looking forward to more content. Thank you, Warriors and our fanatics, and looking forward to more of yours as well. And I'm sure we will do some more collab as well down the line. Dad fam, hey man, hey HTB, no worries. He said he's got to go. All good. Yes. So again, guys, just quickly. Yeah, I really don't know who to pick, honestly. I don't think it's going to be an easy walk, this one here. And obviously, I'm following the Penrith Panthers, so I'm going to stick with them to win. But I generally don't know if they can actually win this game. I really don't. And just like I said with the Manly Roosters game, I really don't know either. I don't know. I really don't know. You got Tom Trbojevic there. You got Tedesco as well. I'm sure Tedesco is ready for that challenge. Man, all that sort of hype on Manly, taking it all the way, being the Smoky, gone down the drain with that big loss against the Melbourne Storm. Now, if it was a close game, say, 14 points to 12, sure, it's a different story. It's a different story. But 40 points to 12, what do you do? How do you sort of react to that? As a fan, as someone who's potentially tipping, what do you do? Same can be said for the Rabbitohs or the Penrith Panthers. All right, so Messified HD says, Messified, sorry. Thanks again for being part of this, Messified. Thoughts on Shania Harris-Tavita to test the market? Yeah, look, this is a very interesting one. Look, my thoughts on this just quickly. Obviously, the Warriors, well, Chad Townsend's gone, right? Paul Turner's gone, right? Peter Huku's gone, right? Toby Harris won't be, he won't be back for a while. I'm just naming players that have actually played in the halves for us, right? Over the tenure of either this season or last. Now we only have technically, if say for example he does go, we won't have that much in stock. Then we'll have Sean Johnson, and apparently Sean O'Sullivan's gone. Apparently, does anyone have any info on that Sean O'Sullivan stuff? If anyone does, please feel free to comment ASAP. what is happening with him? Is he gone? Is he with us? I don't know, because again, if he goes and Tavita goes, well, we've only got Sean Johnson. Surely we can't rely on Suriname. Surely we can't rely on Walsh. We don't. Our stocks at the halves are very low. Actually, quite low. Actually. So again, unsure what to do. Maybe you bring Otugolo. Maybe you trade him up. I don't know. Again, I think if he goes, though I'm not trying to comment on his form per se, so I understand that. I think just in regards to the dynamic of what happens with the Warriors, if he does go, it's not a good one, especially when you're talking about, trying to have some reliable sort of halves after that. I don't think we have much at all, so we'll see what happens. Jackie here says he's getting ahead of himself. He is still very raw at our level. Yeah, look, I agree. One thing I do like about Shania Harris-Tavita, though, is that rawness. I like that sort of ad-lib approach that he has sometimes. Some people may say he needs to get more involved, more engaged. But to be fair, he's been struggling with a lot of injury as well, so you've got to sort of bring that into play. Now, I'm very surprised he's testing the open market, considering the Warriors see him as the future half, especially for next year when Sean Johnson comes next season. So very surprised at that. A little bit disappointed, I think, is what I want to say, actually. Very disappointed, particularly if that is true. Obviously, the Warriors need someone like Shania Harris-Tavita to be playing. He's still young. He can still learn. He can still grow. And that combination of him and Reece Walsh has been effective. But to test the open market, especially with someone I actually do like, I like him a lot. Yes, it's not the best news to hear. Miss Fight said O'Sullivan has a contract. Oh, okay, he does. Okay. O'Sullivan likely to go, as Warriors procrastinating on him, but he's still looking at options. I think Warriors need us. Yeah, look, it's obviously the word. What's that word? Goodness. What's the goodness? Nepotism. That's right, nepotism. A lot of that's been thrown around, so that means so like when families sort of work together and all that stuff there, and then they sort of hire people because your family. There's basically this sort of short end of it. That's been sort of thrown around, but to be fair with you, if that was the case, Sean O'Sullivan would have been signed before he even touched the Warriors ball, right? The NRL ball, and it hasn't been the case. So I'm actually sort of struggling that I'm sort of struggling to find why he hasn't been re-signed. we don't have much depth next season. Like if O'Sullivan goes and Shania Harris-Tavita goes, I think all in all we are screwed in the halves department. Like we're only going to be relying really on Sean Johnson, Bailey Suriname potentially, Reece Walsh, who is a fullback, and you don't touch my boy Reece Walsh. When it comes to fullback, you just leave him there. That's it. That's just the be all end all. I refuse to hear any other sort of reasoning. For me personally, Reece Walsh is fullback. Joker here says, I ain't knocking CHT is a very good, but he needs time to develop and is not worth big money. He seems to think he is. Yeah, look, I agree. I agree. All right, just quickly here. Messified, has it finally settled in that RTS has gone? I'll get into that. So Frenchie 3, hey, can I be mod? Yeah, look, Frenchie, you can. Can we have a yarn about it? Let's maybe discuss that privately, I guess. Or maybe you and Fanatics can have a yarn. I don't know. Yeah, I'll sort that one out. Sorry, put me on the spot there. So just going back to this, the Jacko here comment. Yeah, look, I agree. I think Shania Harris-Tavita does need time to develop. But no, it's all good, dude. You're right. Has finally settled in, the RTS is gone. Look, I'm gonna do, again, I've got some surprises in store for you guys regarding those type of things. Look, for me personally, look, it's a bummer he's gone, but looking at the sort of like the landscape of it all, these probably fans who are divided on him. I think there are some who are devastated, and I think there are some who are happy he's gone. I think those who are happy he's gone are probably a bit more silent. I think, but for those who say they're happy he's gone, I don't think it's necessarily how do I say this? I don't think they mean it in the sense of anything bad towards them. I just think it's more like that process of moving on. Just got to go on from there. But yeah, for me personally, look, it sucks. It sucks, man. Like, massive chapter of the Warriors gone. But in saying that, we move on. But yeah, it absolutely sucks for sure. Tamatoa says RTS should have stayed one more year, man. Yeah, I agree. Jericho, hey, how you going, man? Cuss might come in. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's right. There is rumors about Cade Cuss, I'm hearing, and forwards as well, potentially. Again, it all sort of depends. Yeah, Cade Cuss will be good, but again, Cade Cuss coming in still doesn't do it for me depth-wise. Yeah. Again, a lot of questions. Just sorry, guys. I'm going to quickly drink some water here. Hawaii says, I wouldn't be worried about Shane Harris to manager could be just putting that out there to drive up his price. Yeah, look, I mean, if that is the case with Shania Harris Tavita, I'm trying. Yeah, look, if it is the case with CHT, I probably, why up his price for what reason does he need to up his price? I mean, yes, I get it. There's that self gain. I get it. I understand that from a personal point, but I mean, as sort of Jacko here sort of touched on, he's still raw, and in comparison to other halves. Let's not kid ourselves. I don't think he is quite there yet. So to try and value, get more value, his raise the stock, should I say, is a very questionable move, considering he's also, unfortunately, I don't want to say it, but it is, he's also very injury prone. So again, as a club, are you willing to sort of throw money at him and have him sit more in the bench than he would be on the field? Again, that is up to you to make as a club, and all that stuff there. But that's sort of like what I'm thinking. Whoever's happy RTS is gone, he's a head examined, but he is gone. So yeah, I agree. Frenchie 316. I feel like it's better he is gone. Now Walsh can focus, not trying to impress the coach to get picked. Yeah. I see what you sort of mean there. Again, very contentious, though. I think it's a very contentious point of view. But yeah, I get what you mean, though. But in saying that, I think just quickly as well. I think, though, with Walsh and that RTS sort of dynamic that happened, I thought it was actually very honourable of RTS to move, into the wing. Though us as fans could have been annoyed and angry and upset about it, obviously. I still think, though, it was an honourable move for him to do, and again shows you the character of Roger Tuivasa-Sheck. First and foremost, shows you his character, and shows you who he is, not only as a player but as a leader for the Warriors. And yeah, boy, do I miss him. But in saying that, Walsh still has that chance to be that franchise, for us, just like RTS was. All right, so I like CHT, but I also want to sign Manu, so I'm on the fence. Yeah, obviously you want to sign Manu. He's a game changer. Joseph Manu was a game changer. He is an all-out, all-elite player, 2-time premiership winner, international caps as well. Can play a plethora of positions. He can play in the halves. He can play in the wing. He can play fullback, center. He can cover a lot of positions. So yeah, I agree. Of course, from that dynamic, of course you'd absolutely want him. But yeah, as for CHT, again, unsure. Jericho, hard luck on your Bears. Yeah, look, that was disgusting, wasn't it? LA Rams absolutely ramshacked us from the get-go. Sorry, guys, I'm not going to sort of go off on a spiel here. But yeah, I sort of followed the NFL. My Chicago Bears played, and, just similar to the Warriors, man. All hope, but just nothing at the end. Jackie here. If Shania Harris Tavita manages trying to drive up his price, he may get a shock, as it could have the reverse effect. I agree. Players, yeah, that's right. Sometimes they can have the reverse effect, and that's right. Sometimes you can get clubs who sort of get upset about them and sort of think, well, that's okay. We've got other people in line. We'll just go and sign them up, and that's a reverse, and they can take a hit. For example, it happens in the NBA. for those of you guys who watch the sport, I can give you a prime example. So I believe Dennis Schroeder, so he's a player who now plays for the Celtics. He was playing for the LA Lakers, right, guys? And I believe the LA Lakers offered him, I think it was around between 70 to 80 million, I think it was, for 4 to 5 years, somewhere around that. And he actually rejected it. Now, I'm not sure if it was off his own back or the manager, but he actually rejected that offer. And he said, no, I'm worth more. So Dennis Schroeder actually goes in the open market. Get this. He goes into the open market to test his value. Nobody wants him. Nobody wants him. And the only team that wants him is the Celtics. But guess what? His price value has dropped astronomically, and he only gets offered $5 million for one season. Again, obviously, it's a different dynamic here of money. It's a different thing altogether. But yes, that's right. What Jacko said is right. Sometimes players who try to bet on themselves, quote unquote, bet on themselves, can find that it's probably a bad thing to do. So Dennis Schroeder now plays for the Celtics on $5 million, missing out on a total of $75 million. Sometimes it pays just to take what's in front of you. Frenchie says, but Walsh is still young, but Warriors need a leader. He was the leader of the team. Yeah, I'm hearing a lot of that. I'm hearing a lot of that stuff there, lack of leadership and stuff, obviously pertaining to Adam Fanor-Blake, pertaining to that Lodge Tavanga incident, Evans incident. Was it an outlier situation? I think it was. Is it something you want to see again? No, absolutely not. If you sort of go back on it as well, it's very tough as to how the Warriors, and again, I'll address these points, as after the NRL season, my thoughts on captain and who should be and why, and all that stuff there. But yeah, look, I think the Warriors do have the leadership stuff. Yeah, it's up in the air, I think. Though I'm a big fan of Adam Fanor-Blake being captain. Yeah. Yeah, I'm a fan of Adam Fanor being captain. Though I understand some people are not. That's fair enough too. All right, the overs money it will take to get Manu would be better spent on elite dummy half like Brandon Smith. Manu's asking price just too much. Yeah, it is. And like I said, when you sign a player like Manu, even Brandon Smith, I mean, to be realistic, when you're signing these players, you've got to take into account, one, they're going to be including their representative, career, as well as, their premierships. And to be fair with you, Manu winning premierships too, back to back, that absolutely destroys your wallet. Your wallet gets knocked out in the first 10 seconds, right? And then you got someone like Brandon Smith too, who I think is borderline the same level. Yeah, you got to spend your cash wisely. So that's right. It's a good point there. Jericho says, other feeling CHT leaving because of Reece Walsh. That's an interesting point there. That is a very interesting point, obviously. Because I think the two work so well together. And obviously, post conference as well. As well, that post game. Sorry, just going back to the post game match when the two of them spoke on Fox Footy, and they sort of had a laugh together. Yeah, so if that is the case, yeah, we'll see what happens. Did any of you guys sort of notice any what I thought I saw anyway? A lot of infighting at the Warriors as well. Not to make this about the Warriors, but yeah, a lot of infighting in the camp there between some of the boys, I think. All right, so good question here by Messified, and I'll get again, guys. I'll address any of these sort of questions you guys are asking, particularly pertaining to the players. I'm just giving you guys just sort of like a very fast, sort of like unstudied, unanalyzed sort of response. But yeah, expectations for Johnson next season. Look, it sort of just goes off that other leadership sort of comment there before, right? I do see him as a leader coming in with a more mature head. And then we'll just, sort of go from there, really. Hopefully kick us some wins, I guess. Be a very good presence for the boys, I think, is another one too. Jacko here says, geez, missing out $70 million. That takes, yeah, absolutely it does. Absolutely it does. All right, Frenchie, so can I be mod? Yeah, man. I'm just not sure how to do it. We'll talk about it afterwards, yeah? Yeah, we will definitely. And again, guys, you can follow me just quickly on Twitter. You can follow me on Instagram. You can follow me on Facebook, on Spotify. I've got to do more content there. And TikTok as well, I think. But I don't have anything posted there. But if you wanted to, I'm there as well. Joker, they both got on very well and are not fighting for some position. Same position. Too long living close quarters sadly tends to lead to something. But yeah, I agree. Because, I thought I sort of saw that in the Titans game. There was a lot of a bit of back and forth, which isn't good. I think definitely spells out a bit of unrest in the camp, which is not good, and I think it showed. But guys, I think just quickly as well, we're going to be looking at this. But again, more content coming this week, so stay tuned for. Again, I've told you the places to follow me. Follow me there. Expect more things as well. But thanks again, guys, for watching. I'm going to log off now. It's been an hour. Thanks again, guys, for watching. I appreciate it very much. Again, take care. Mental health is important, so get that checked out, and always look after those around you that you love, and be safe in this COVID environment as well, and be safe, be well, and thanks again, guys, for watching. I appreciate it very much. And just quickly, what an unpredictable sort of an NRL season ahead. What an absolutely unpredictable sort of season now. But in saying that, unfortunately, I don't want to say this, but the Storm look good, and I think they're going to win this again. Oh my gosh. Anyway, thank you, guys, and I'll see you guys next time. And just remember, hold the ball. See you guys next time.